السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم فاخرة.
أهلين، مرحبا شيرين.
Hello Shireen.
مرحب وعليكم السلام.
How are you today?
Alhamdulillah. Thanks God. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. I'm always Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So
شكرا إنك إجيتي اليوم لعنا ومتشوقات كتير إنه نسمعك. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, and we are really looking forward to have a deep conversation about you and your life and your experience.
Yes, fantastic. You are listening to the podcast Women Ending War, where you will hear the voices of Israeli and Palestinian women dedicating their lives to creating a new reality in this land. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we're excited to have here today Shireen Najjar, the first Arab girl born in Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom, a very special place in Israel. Welcome.
Shukran.
So tell us, what is Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom?
Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom is the only village where Jews and Arabs, Palestinian and Israeli, and Palestinian with Israeli citizenship, made a choice to come and live together, educate their kids to be together, and have a community and sharing life together on the land of 48 of Israel. It's a piece of land with two nations that made a choice to come and live together.
It's the only place like that in Israel.
Only place that, from a choice. Only place, only small village, only community that both Christian and Muslims and Jews, through religions, two nations, Palestinian, Israelis, Arab Jews, come and decided to be neighbors, to be partners, and build their life together.
Why is that so important to you?
For me, it's the only, it's my breathing place. It's my only safe place and easy, and not easy, but easier place in this world.
Mm-hmm. I just want to comment on that choice. And also, you said when we talked with you that it's the safer place for you nowadays to express yourself. It's like you said, it's people, Palestinians and Jewish Israelis, who made the choice to have a neighbor who is Palestinian or who are Jewish, and to have their kids be educated together for a shared life, for a shared future, which we don't see it nowadays. Like, we don't see so much during this dark time that Palestinians and Jewish Israelis, Palestinian citizens of Israel and Jewish Israelis will choose to live nearby each other and to share the space and to share the school and to create principles for equality and justice and dignity.
As equals, as complete equals.
As equals. What is special about this place? As I've said, we are trying to challenge the reality. The reality, as I said, we are located in the land of 48, what is called Israel. So we are inside the Israeli laws. And for us, the Israeli laws are very much discrimination and about Israel having more rights than the Arabs, than the Palestinian with Israeli citizenship, of course, the other Palestinians. So in this place, we want to create something different. We want to challenge this reality, this oppressed reality, and having equality. How do we do it? We share the same place. We have the same number. We share the same rules. We have equal numbers of residents, Palestinian and Israelis. Shared place for working places. We have the bilingual school, and in the community we use the two languages, Arabic and Hebrew. As we say, the language is a mirror of a culture. Mm-hmm. So we have very important also to give the Arabic language also very important place. It's not just a communication tool, but it's more about a mirror of our culture. So in this place where we also celebrate the three religions, the two nations, we speak also about the hard issues and the hard times, but we are still neighbors and partners in doing life for both of us, that we make life possible for both of us with equality standards.
What was it like growing up there?
It was very special. If I can go back from to the history, why was it established? So in the late 70s, there was a priest called Bruno Hussar. He came originally from Egypt. He was born as a Jew, converted to be a Christian, went to France, became a
priest.
He became a priest, a Christian priest. And in France, he had a dream to build a place for the three religions in the Holy Land. He came to the Holy Land, starting spreading his idea. So most of people thought he was crazy, until a monastery of Latrun, the monastery that is nearby us, believed in his idea and said, okay, we will give you a piece of land and make your dream possible. He was going around the country talking about this possibility, living together, the three religions in the Holy Land. So my father and other fellows in the late 70s liked this idea and said, okay, we are ready to come and try. What did they do? They joined a hill. It was still just a hill with nothing, or we say with nature. And starting from all beginning, they built a community. They built a village. So my father got married with my mother. They came. Another couples or even individuals started to hear about this idea, came to this hill, starting from the beginning, building house, with no electricity or water supply, but starting from the beginning. And because it was the land that was from the monastery, so it could be possible to do it because it was a private land. It was not a state land. There is a difference between a state. If you can see, since 1948 today, there was no Arabic village that was established since then.
Yes.
More than 500 Palestinian villages were demolished, but no one was created newly. So it was the only place that is built, coexisting place, but it's from the Latrun monastery private land.
You're saying you think the Israeli government wouldn't have allowed it? If it was up to the government alone, like the government ordered us?
Well, I don't think I'm just saying it, but it's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. No Arab villages was established. And in fact, all of the Arabic villages are having very hard time with land issues.
To expand. This is a policy of the State of Israel that it's very known, and the Palestinians talk about it.
Yeah.
It's to shrink the Palestinian villages and not to allow them to expand, while there has been establishment of 100 something new cities and villages, Jewish cities, but Arab villages or cities have not been established since the establishment of the State of Israel, and this is a policy of the State of Israel, very known.
Yeah. We heard from a woman from Hamakom, Makom, it's called Bimkom, who talked about how she saw they work on urban planning,
exactly, and architecture. Yes,
and she talked about how since 2021 they've literally watched villages be erased, disappear. She told us that.
Yes, and they know the policies, how you can just shrink Arabic village or limited. There are policies with roads and with other kind of policies. But so we had another idea. So we had this coexistence village and facing the reality of Israel with this. I think we show for an Israel we're a threat. I think. For the state of Israel, our village is a threat because we show as an example that coexistence is possible. When we are having dignity and equal right, coexistence is possible. Not with oppression, not with discrimination. Oppression and احتلال. Occupation. Not with this, but by living side by side, partners, and with the resources all together.
So I want to point out that you and I met through the School for Peace.
Yes.
Right? The BIMCOM experience that we shared was at a course that you are leading.
Yes.
Shireen is my teacher. I'm taking a course. You're my teacher. I'm taking a course now this year in School for Peace. School for Peace is part of Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom.
Yes.
Where you are a facilitator and can you talk about the School for Peace for a minute?
Yes, I can tell you, as I was the first Arab girl to be born in 1980. So maybe I'll start with the primary school. Is it to give the distinguish what is this and what is that? So when I was born, and then another Jewish boys were born also, I was the only Arab girl in that small circle of kids, and then came more. So our parents started thinking, oh, so now how do we educate our kids? We have small kids. Do we send them as we have all the education system, around us are separate? If it's Arabic school and Jewish school, they don't study together, not in the 80s. And they said, okay, if we starting a new community style together, we want to start also new education system together. And they started the primary school. That was the first time where Jews and Arabs studied together from nursery, kindergarten. Today it is till 6th grade, where we have bilingual school, 3 religion, 2 nation. Again, we celebrate the 3 holidays, and we celebrate the national days. Celebrate or we speak about them,
or
memorize them,
recognize them.
Exactly, and the 2 languages. Again, it's all about the importance of the 2 languages and not delete the Arabic language. And our school became also a model, as you can see, other schools that were started. The bilingual school if it's in Al-Quds, Jerusalem, in Bir al-Saba, Beersheba, and other places that are also starting the Yad Biyad or bilingual school. So this is how we educate, or this is how we spread our education. Also by the primary school today, we have students coming from all Matei Yehuda area. That means from also Ain Rafa, also we have from Abu Ghosh, and other come from Ramlilid, from all our area, and also Jewish villages, if it's Karmel Yosef, Tal Shachar, Kfar Uriya, and surrounding us are coming to study in our school. Beside the primary school, we want to spread our work. We say that we are pioneers. It's the only community where we live together. We have other, schools, university that are working on conflict resolution, or there are other schools that they are bilingual school. But this is the only community where we live together. We have a lot of experience. How do we spread it? We have the institute called the School for Peace. School for Peace, we bring groups from different sides, from different areas, locally, from inside. It's Palestinian, Israeli, or abroad. For example, it was in Belfast, Ireland. We have another conflict places in the world, as you can know. If it's South Africa, if it's the Balkan, we bring groups in conflict, but mainly it's inside the country. And we use our method of the School for Peace, that it is based on the power dynamic, and we facilitate groups. If it's Freire, Fanon, and other kind of power dynamic issue, we call it حوار بين الهويات, or dialogue between the identities. Identities dialogue. As we see it in the School for Peace, yes, we are in a group. Yes, each of us is individual, but also my voice is also representing a lot of identity circles in my nation. I can say for myself, for example, Shireen Najjar, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a Muslim, I'm wearing a hijab, I'm Arab, I'm Palestinian, I have an Israeli citizenship. So I have a lot of circles that they are building my identity too. And with all of it, I'm sitting in the room and I'm having a dialogue. So each part of this circle of this identity is also represented in this room.
Suppressed. Yeah, it's fascinating. The School of Peace, I think, and it's a model that is taught in a lot of different places in the world. But I want to emphasize something to link it also with the Wahat Salaam. What you are saying, that Wahat Salaam, bringing Palestinian and Israelis and recognizing the Palestinian identity and recognizing the Jewish-Israeli identity, and not delegitimize it as it happening outside. It happening in the reality.
We are aware that there's a conflict. We say there's a conflict. There is a power dynamic. There is occupation. There is oppression. Outside, I mean, our village is inside it. We are not in a green piece, right? We are not disconnected.
But you are trying to say we recognize the identities, that we hold it. We recognize the Palestinian identity, the history of the Palestinian identity, the culture, and we presented in the space equally like the Jewish Israeli identity.
Really facing it. I mean, I'll just give an example from the course that I'm taking.
And,
you know, I'm doing a course. They have courses for different kinds of groups.
Yes.
So the course that I'm doing is a course on environment, on climate justice, which is very interesting to me. I have a master's degree in environmental science, and, you know, I haven't really done a lot with it in my life because I'm busy with like other things, but it's super interesting to me. And this course, the idea of combining all of those things, combining peace and, you know, dialogue, and rebuilding and climate justice, especially after this war. I mean, this war has created so many new climate catastrophes on so many levels. So in this course, we did some work about environmental issues, and we did a lot of work. So, I mean, we're just at the beginning, okay? But we did a lot of work on what you're describing, right? Which is owning your identity. If you come there into the room and you sort of like own who you are. I am a Jewish, American, Israeli woman, an immigrant in some ways still, you know, and we're sitting across, you know, from people with different identities. I am a Muslim, Palestinian woman in a hijab, and we're owning it. And we're using it, and within owning that, in the context of conflict, oppression, inequality, saying we're all human beings, and learning to reconstruct all of it rather than as being part of a, you know, hierarchy. To say
power relation,
to switch that up, to say I am who I am, you are who you are, and we are equals as human beings, and that we want to recreate our surroundings and recreate our society to reflect that.
Definitely.
To reflect core humanity. Not to deny who we are, not to say, oh, you know, I can't be who I am. We all can be exactly who we want to be and still be human beings.
But but not just human relationships. She's talking about power dynamics.
Right.
And just to add it, because they dismantle the power dynamics that exist between Palestinians and Israelis, while Palestinians are oppressed. But in the model of School for Peace and the Wahat Salaam, you create a shared power relationship. And this is the important. Shared decisions are taken equally between Palestinians and Israelis, and not somebody imposing decision on the other. Yes? I mean, the difference here that you share the power relationship, it's shared power, and decisions are also taken in equal basis.
We can say, how do we do it? Again,
how do you do it? Yes, how do you do it?
That difference.
Tell us. Yes, please tell us.
Yes, of course. How do we do it? First, both of us are taking the decisions, right? And as we said, it's all about acknowledging the reality. The reality, yes, is oppression, is hard. I mean, my voice doesn't worth much outside of my village. It's even not just enforced, but it's more oppressed. Inside the village, I do raise my voice. What do I mean? In the School for Peace, how is our model working? We have two facilitators in the room, one Palestinian, one Israeli. We have the two languages. I speak in Arabic, Arabic, Ibrani, Arabic, Hebrew. With also, sometimes we have translation. It depends. We give the space for both sides to express myself. And you know, with my look, I'm a facilitator in the group. I give a lot of empowerment also to the Palestinian group. Here, a woman with a hijab speaking Arabic in a power chair. I mean, it gives them a lot of empowerment.
Right.
They're not used to see it sometimes. And
we had a great conversation about that, right? We had a weekend away, and we spent like probably an hour expressing what it means to be wearing a hijab. You know, and also some Jewish women also, you know, my friend also who's there wears a head covering. I used to cover my hair also. We had all of these conversations about what that is and what that isn't, and, you know, breaking stereotypes and, you know, breaking preconceived ideas about what a woman is or isn't based on what she looks like. And just women, like just, you know, the women who were there, I think 4 or 5 women there wearing hijab, who suddenly were like really sharing their real lived experiences and who they are. And that was wow.
You know, it is very wow, because in the reality, as I said, outside the room, like you are neglected, you are not seen. You're gray and you're not seen. And here, no, I see you in the room. I want to speak. Let's speak about the issues. And I usually say, let's speak about the issues that is inside us, that interrupt us, that is, that are not comfortable with us. I feel not comfortable sometimes outside my room. I want to say it now. I want to speak it now.
This is your approach, and I guess there are some argument about it. And just to emphasize it, and to emphasize, you are allowing the identities to be expressed fully. Yes. If it's Palestinian, if it's Jewish Israeli, if it's Jewish woman, religious woman, so you are giving this space that all identities are expressed fully. Without limitations, which is not an outside
without the judgment,
without a judgmental. Yes. But the other also approach that you also bring to the school of peace is that you confronting, you allow the confrontation to come to the space between Palestinian and Israelis, or between identities, and you think that we should not hide the conflict. And this is sometimes some other schools would say, no, maybe we have to emphasize first the common things between us and not the differences between us. But your school, the opposite, saying that, no, we have to confront the difficulties from the beginning. And I guess this is not an easy approach, which some people might challenge it, but you say no. When we confront the challenges and the difficulties between the identities, it helps you.
When I want even to give an example, how do we do it, and how do we speak about the heart? Exactly, I see it. I give an example. I see us, both of us, the two nations here. We have a couple relationship. And couple relations is always difficult. If it's couple, friend with a friend, woman with a man, all of the couple relationships are difficult and have a lot of challenges. How do it? If we want to make it success, we need to speak about the hard issues. Because if we will hide the hard issues, that is the past, the 1948 and before and after and today and October. If we will hide it, it will explore somewhere else. If I will say, no, me and you, my husband, we love each other and everything will be fine. And okay, but if we will not discuss the hard issues, it will come later on with the kids, with the school, with the work, with the time, with the cinema time. It will explore in ourselves differently. So I say no. The life is difficult. It's not easy. And we want our relationship as Jews and Arab, Palestinian, Israel to success. We need to discuss the hard issues. Because if we will not discuss it, it will hurt me. And when it will hurt me, it will not go in a good way. Yeah.
You need to clean the space between you and to be honest. To get it out. Because you are building trust between each other.
Exactly. Trust. And we want to, because it hurts me. When we say, usually also with a man and a woman, when we'll say, okay, let's delete the past and speak about now on how we will do. I can't delete the past. The past still hurts me. I can't, just put things that like nothing happened before. No, if it's still, because the past is still continuing and have resource and influence still today. If I want to solve or to react with what is going on today or in the future, I need to solve the past. How to make reconciliation also with the past. I need to speak about it.
Marhaba, I'm Elana. Shalom.
Marhaba, ismi Fakhira.
And we're your co-hosts of Women Ending War.
Yes, we are interviewing women who are dedicated to make a change in the future between Palestinians and Israeli during this dark time.
We are working to create a different future, full of light and hope and humanity.
Yes, and bringing women who are holding principles of equality, justice, freedom, and dignity for both people.
Join us. If you like what we have to say, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Be in touch with us. We want to hear from you. We love hearing from you.
So you speak about the past between Palestine and... So tell us a little bit some examples, like what's the difficulties that you are facing to live together, Palestinians and Israeli and Jewish Israeli citizens, both are citizens. After 7th of October or before, it raises a lot of challenges and opportunities. So tell us about the challenges of living together. Some examples of
no, we have a very easy life. No, I mean, we have also, of course, challenges. My father used to say that the easiest life is to have an enemy. When you have an enemy, you can blame him for everything. You know, all of your problem, economic, social, gender, all of your problems is because of this enemy. You can put everything on him. He's in charge for all of my problems. If it's violence, economic, everything. But the hardest process is to create this enemy as a neighbor, as a partner.
Wow.
And this is what we're trying to do in the villages thing. Instead of being my enemy, he will be my neighbor. How do I do it? How do I live? For an example, my father is coming from Arabi, the village in the Galilee. They are very much oppressed from the Jewish villages that took our lands. You know how we were also educated, or how do we see Arabi small village? They want to build, we can't build. They want to expand, we can't, because Misgav and Carmel and all the Mitzpim, the beautiful blah 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 places are taking our land. All of the natural economy are taking our land, so we can't. The Israel are taking our land. If it's the Earth Day, Yom al-Ard, and other national days, the Israelis are taking all our resources. Yeah, what do we do now?
The land day is that it happened when Palestinians inside Israel revolted the policies of Israel in 1973. It's called the land day.
Land day, exactly. Because it's about Musadarat al-Aradi.
Yeah, Israel wanted to annex and to take I don't remember the number, but a huge number of Palestinian lands. A land that belonged to Palestinian families, citizens of Israel, in the Galilee, and they wanted to annex it, to take it to
Carmel and other Jews. So we call it like Judaism of the Galilee, أو تهويد الجليل, to make it Jewish. So the Arab protested. Then they
1973. It's very known.
Shot. Exactly.
They were killed by the state of Israel, and it became one of the national.
30 Adar, or 30 of March. So my family was, coming from this reality where the Jews are taking my land. My father, the first time he met an Israeli Jew was in university. He went to the agriculture faculty in Rehovot, the Hebrew University. Then he met the Jewish students sitting next to them. How can he act with them? How can we speak? Then he thought, okay, it's too late to get to know the Israeli student or the one sitting nearby me in this university. So he heard Father Bruno Hossar speaking about this idea, and he said, no, I want that my kids will get to know the Israeli Jews from the very early of their life, and to get to know them as partners and not as the one that are owning us.
He had never met a Jew until he was
They met them, as a soldier, as someone that is controlling our life.
And that was the first time that your father saw a Jew not as a soldier.
Or not just in the bus, but first communication.
Like communication.
Yeah, good communication, let's say. It's not an official office, or not not official work or something. First good meeting was in university. But it was in the 70s. It was after the
military.
But because of that, that's why he wanted to do, because he wanted something else. He wanted people to encounter each other from early on.
He wanted to create a different life than he had. Yeah. This is what I can.
Just Elana, like Palestinians after the establishment, what she's also mentioning, that sometimes we are not emphasizing it, from 1948 until 1967, Palestinians inside Israel were under military control, which means they couldn't travel out of the villages without taking permit. So they were under military control of the state of Israel, and their mobilization was controlled. So the connection with the Jewish Israelis were different, not like today. Okay, so it was more.
But even today, you reminded me of a story that I once heard from a woman in East Jerusalem who told me the same thing about her son. She's a peace activist, and she said that her son, her 8-year-old son, had never met anyone Jewish except for the soldiers on their street who would come in and, do arrests and things like that. And that was, when I heard that, it was already like 10 or 15 years ago that I heard the story. I remember where I heard it. I was really surprised. It shocked me. I never, because I never heard of such a thing. Like, what do you mean you've never met a Jew other than a soldier? Like, she was upset because her son thought that all Jews were soldiers, and her son thought that all Jews just want to, be violent and all of that. And I was like, what? How could he for me, it was like, really? So that's why when you said that your father had the same thing, I was like, okay, I've heard this story before, and it makes me, very sad.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. It's sad that, that this is the reality, this is the reality. And also, like, what's my role in this,
Definitely. But in order to understand this reality, you need to understand also the policies of Israel and the context that's happening for the Palestinians in that context, like East Jerusalem, its policies of oppression and occupation and the control for Palestinians in East Jerusalem. So definitely the encounter with the Jewish Israelis is encounter with the master, with the occupier, with the soldier. But now it's a little bit changing.
You talked about this before.
Yeah, now it's changing because...
But still, I think not in East Jerusalem. It's changing very much in Arab, in Nasri, in 1948, right? Today, there is no Arab in Arab, in the Galilee, there is no land, so they go to rent or build in Carmel. It is changing also economically and due to the circumstances. But I can tell in East Jerusalem, it's
Definitely.
Still... When I got married in 2011 with Mustafa is from East Jerusalem. And then my mother-in-law, his mother asked me, okay, where do you want to live? Do you want to live in the old city where they have a small house nearby Al-Aqsa Mosque? Or do you want where they are living in Kufr Aqab? So it's behind the Kalandia fence. It's still Jerusalem municipality. They pay Arnona taxes, but they don't get any services. And it's behind the checkpoint, behind the fence.
It's behind the separation wall.
Separation wall.
Exactly. The fence, it's a Jewish Israeli terminology. It's not a fence. It's a wall.
It's not a checkpoint. I don't want to say even
the
a checkpoint.
separation wall.
Even it's not...
And the wall in Jerusalem,
but it's not a point.
So they're behind
huge
it.
Check control.
Yes,
right. The wall in Jerusalem has completely cut off,
separated families in the same neighborhood.
So it's there to Ramallah direction or inside Jerusalem. And I thought, okay, where do we want to live? We, a young couple together. Let's start with the old cities, the most likely wanted place on the earth, the Holy Land. And then we started together. And, for us, it was, for me, from, very free woman going all around the world, from Italy to Georgia to everywhere, to the most, I think, oppressed place inside the world. So it's in front of Al-Aqsa Mosque, from the Rosary Gate to the Lion Gate. Everything is controlled. When you want to get in, out, there are police, soldiers.
Israeli
everywhere.
Police.
Of course, Israeli police. In the beginning, I didn't wear hijab. So coming in and out was much easier to go in the surface, in the atmosphere. It was much easier to go around. But after having the hijab, like half a year later, life went upside down, went upside down and became very hard and difficulties. How is it to live in a place that all of your life getting in and out your country, your house is controlled with soldiers?
The hijab makes you more of a target.
It's because her identity became obvious.
Right.
As
and because the whole
Palestinian.
city, it's we say occupation, but it is a direct occupation. Did you know that the old city gates, they can be closed? Damascus gates, they close it.
Definitely.
And ask them, why is it closed? It's closed. The Rosary Gate is closed.
I think all the time about the Palestinians who live inside the old city because life cannot be controlled. Like it could be surprising for them. Checkpoint suddenly in the mid of the day or in the night.
And they close the gate. Bab al-Hara.
And
they close the gate. How come?
Yeah, and the encounter of young people, Palestinians, with the soldiers, and you don't know this encounter will lead to tension, to beating them, to arresting them.
Do you know that as a young man, Arabic Palestinian man, you don't go with your shirt in or out. You consider a lot of issues. Because then they will check you if you have a knife or anything weapon down you have to put your shirt inside your pants. Like there are very different behavior standards when you are under direct occupation. And me as a facilitator, I see it. I see a power dynamic. And suddenly I became silent. I'm oppressed. I can't speak. Nothing. The gate is closed. Why is it closed? I don't know. Who to say? Who can I apply? Why is the gate closed? Why can't I go home?
Has this gotten worse? Can we talk about October 7th for a second? Has all of this that you're describing, also walking with a hijab and being visible and the random searches and the random checkpoints and the random stops and controls and all that, has all that gotten worse since October 7th?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, yes, I know the answer, but yes.
Let me tell you like a short issue.
Is that okay?
Of course. October 7th, and it came as a surprise for most of us. For me, in Wahat, Salaam, Neve Shalom, we are located near Latrun, 20 minutes from Modi'in, all of the Jewish villages surrounding us. The closest Arabic place is Abu Ghosh and Rafah towards Jerusalem, or Ramle leads toward Jaffa, but it's mixed. Anyway, for me, with my appearance, I didn't go out from the village for 1 month. Wow. 1 month. My husband always was too afraid that I will go out from the village. All of the Israeli flags, everything militant surrounding us. Don't go out, don't go to the gate. You should lock the door. Arabs in general were very much terrified, especially surrounded.
Persecution.
Exactly. So we are not just invisible. It's not about invisible, but we are a threat. We feel ourselves as a threat. Like, I don't feel comfortable in my own environment, in my own space. First time I came to Modi'in, to Klalit, we didn't go as individuals, as couples, always me and my friend. To Modi'in. It's all بياخدنا. We were checked, of course, in the
if you go together as a group, like two people, they will check you, but one person will not.
They will check, it's okay, but no one will attack me. Okay, yes, no, will not shoot me. I mean, we feel we need to have common support. I had to get a bit of shopping. So we got in a car, like 5 women, 2 Arabs, 3 Jews, went to a shopping together. I mean, we had to get also the Jews taking care of us, the Jewish neighbors because we felt very vulnerable as Palestinian, as Arabs. Everyone can shoot at you now, or shoot you, or have anything, beat you. And no one will do anything.
It's acceptable.
It's very acceptable.
This is the dangerous, is that you can be beaten or
can be shot,
dehumanized, but it's acceptable because the leaders as well, the leaders in this state, especially like the right wing, give legitimacy for discriminating against Palestinians or even violating them, and it's acceptable because of the trauma of the 7th of October.
I told you that I have a friend, Maha, who also wears a hijab in Jaffa, and that first month she was attacked right next to her house in Jaffa, in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, but I want to return back to your story, because you said something which is contradict, that you lived in East Jerusalem where you thought it will be the heaven for you, and it became
the Holy Land, not heaven.
The Holy Land, and it became the most dangerous for you because of your identity, because of it's controlled by Israeli soldiers, by the policies of oppressing Palestinians, and you decided to go back to Wahat Salaam because you felt there that it's more safer for you. Yes.
Yes. What made you? Yeah.
So like it's
in the old city.
Mm-hmm.
I said I want to do my own jihad. Yes, my own, lifestyle. I want to live there. I want to create a different life. I'm a pioneer. So yes, I will have a family. The beginning, it's in front of Al-Aqsa. I will create something different also for me. I will try as much as I can. It's my own jihad, making a life possible there, not just for very low socioeconomic life, but also for me. It's the most place wanted in the world. It's Via de la Rosa, with everywhere. Yeah. In the old city, and I want to make it happen.
By jihad, you mean like journey?
Jihad is like, for my path.
Your path.
My path. I want to do it.
You know, jihad, like in a lot of places, means something totally different.
We should check why. Yeah, exactly.
Negative, but
path.
you mean positive in a way. You meant
your path, your journey.
My path, my journey. It is a very spiritual place.
Definitely.
I haven't, I'm very privileged. I always say it. I'm very privileged to have a small house, very small house, in front of Al-Aqsa, in the Via della Rosa, in the most wanted place in the world, where all the leaders and all the people call for. I live there. Where they all call for Al-Quds, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. I live there. I'm very privileged.
Everybody fight about this house, probably.
Everyone. I mean, all of the world is talking
about that corner,
right?
Definitely.
So I tried. We had 3 boys there. And they said, no parking, no getting, no in, no out. Then it became too difficult. Too difficult. Then we had the Intifada, was closing Al-Aqsa gates for the first time and beating and checkpoints inside the neighbors of the Al-Aqsa. It became too difficult. And they say, because I'm privileged, because I have the choice, and because I could choose, I could get back home. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay, I had my own journey, more than 8 years, 3 boys. Alhamdulillah, thanks God, I need to go back home for easier life. And again, why? Because the kids started asking, they were 5 years old, who are the Jews walking on our roofs? Who are the ones that are knocking the doors? Again, I didn't want them to know the Israelis or the Jews as the soldier that are oppressing us, that are preventing us from having an easier life. I want them to know the Jews as partners. I want to make them more empowered with this encounter with the Jews and not oppressed. My biggest fear that, like others in the old city, they will be checked with this soldier. I don't want to bring them because I'm privileged and I can choose.
Definitely. You want your children to be with different values and not values that they are our enemies, which is, I understand the reality of occupation, but you want them to experience different experience with the Jewish Israeli as partner, as neighbors, as friends at school. And it's
I
also
want him to discuss with these Israelis and not to make a muqawama to this or to make any resistance with it. Because if he will get to know the Israel as someone that is always oppressing him, he will resist him. I don't want him now to resist, and I want him to make a dialogue or to confess with him, to speak with him. Let's get to know him.
It's like what you were saying about your father, how your father said to not have the other person as an enemy, but have the other person as like a human being.
Exactly. I want them to know the Jews in other part.
Yeah.
Not as soldiers, as oppressor, as police that are preventing us from having an easier or daily life.
So how's that going today in Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom? How is that vision happen? How is it going?
How's it going? As we say, life is not easy, alhamdulillah, but we're doing it. I mean, I think the biggest issue of Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom, that we are doing it. We are living there. And when they were used to ask Father Bruno Hussar, how do we do it? We live there with all of the differences and diversities and the challenges and the disagreements, but we do it.
Yeah, tell us what your children got, which principles that they won't get it if they were outside of now Wahat Salam. Like, what's the values that now your kids carry and other kids a little bit get that others don't have it.
Yeah.
Because I think the easier is the language issue. They speak fluently Arabic and Hebrew. And when speaking the Hebrew, also they speak the Hebrew songs and the festive days.
The culture.
And any other Arabic or Palestinian will not. He will know, how do we say when is Pesach coming? This is what the Arabs know. But this is not what it's supposed to be. I mean,
it's not the negative slogan about the Jewish holiday. They have a different meaning about the Jewish holiday.
I think this is also my Jewish friend's sentence. He always said, Sagi. He always said, Chag Gadol LaYudim, Otzer Gadol LaArabim. Because when a Jewish festival is coming, they will be now, Otzer or...
Closing. When there is a holiday for the Jewish, usually they close the Palestinian areas and do not allow Palestinians to mobilize from one space to other. So this is the meaning. But your kid saying something else. This is what you are saying.
Yeah, we're saying they speak also the Hebrew language from the Hebrew dialect. For us, it's a bit, okay. I mean, it's. I want them to know it, and I want them to explore. And when they explore, also if you mentioned 7th of October, imagine having now, let's draw a Palestinian flag and walk around it here in Modi'in. Which kind of react will you get? But in the village, Wahat Salaam, Neve Shalom, I think it was the most place that they were still drawing Palestinian flags and feeling safe with it. And this is, it's very, I think it's very wow. It's very
legitimize in the space.
Place. Like in the kindergarten, the Arabic Palestinian teacher tell me, Shireen, today the mfatche, the supervisor is coming, Israeli supervisor, and all the kids want to draw Palestinian flags. And they let them because they express in them. But in other places, they are very terrified. The Arabic society is very much terrified with drawing Palestinian flags.
Outside of the village.
Yes.
In the Arabic villages and cities.
Of course, they don't speak. We went back to the all time. Don't speak, don't mention that. And here, no, we still speak. I think the village is the biggest opportunity for us Palestinians that we are very much shut down in the reality. We speak and we speak loudly and you see we are very much empowered.
Yeah, what you are saying that after the 7th of October, Palestinians inside Israel were silent. They were even silencing themselves because Israeli police and institutions persecute them for any expression of solidarity or of any solidarity to the Palestinians in Gaza or against the war. So they were arresting them, persecuting them. So they became silent, and because of threat. And you are saying that in Wahat Salaam, you are full self-expressed by your identity and you are not silent because this is a space that allowing your identity to be expressed and legitimize it while outside is not this reality.
Yes.
It is.
You know what else I keep thinking about?
Yes.
What you're describing, where there are people from different backgrounds, kids, sitting in school, this one has their culture and their language, this their holidays, this one has culture, language, holidays, and everything's okay and they're all just fine. That is what we might call, diversity. Diversity, inclusion, and equality, right? Diversity, equity, which, is now under attack around the world.
Very much.
Starting from America, or maybe not starting from America. But it used to be, there was a time in America where these values were held dear, and now that's being completely cut down. And, I worry about how here in Israel, we've never quite gotten there, even to that place of being able to say that it feels so normal to say, diversity, human beings are diverse. We're different. We have different religions and holidays and cultures and songs. And that's okay. And we're all okay. We're all we all just want the same things. Yeah. We all want to live life and have joy and have family and work and nice gardens, We all want. So in Israel, I feel like we've never even gotten to that place where we understand what diversity is, except for in Neve Shalom, Wahat Salaam. It's like the only place where there's real diversity. And now I'm even more worried. I'm worried because of October 7th. And I'm also worried because of the ripple effects of what's happening in America and all the things that are being cut down from there because, America spreads these ideas. So I'm a little bit worried actually about all of this. Are you worried? Sorry, that was a bad question. Yeah. We usually ask about
because as Palestinian, I need to emphasize it. It's a diversity and it's nationalism. It's definitely the diversity, but it's also acknowledging the both nations. It's bi-national place, no? What you are emphasizing, that Palestinians and also diversity, but because as Palestinian, because the space is not giving legitimacy for my nationality, I need also to emphasize it, that it's also diversity basis, but also by a national basis inside. Wahat Salaam. But to return back to your, to emphasize this concept,
Yeah.
But are you,
Are you worried? Yeah.
I'm trying not to be. How do I'm trying? As I say, I'm trying to find my path. If it's through Islam, through religion, I'm trying to be calm. If I'll be worried, what will it help me? Again, should I act from worriness?
Right.
Or from being afraid I'm trying to be calm, to think about path. What will happen? I think God is controlling everything. If He's controlling what's going in America, in Gaza, Jaffa, Palestine, Israel, all of the world, God will. If God didn't make it happen, it will not happen.
So your faith helps you. Your
Very
faith
much.
helps you.
And what did I do? And especially after October 7th and before, I made, like a WhatsApp morning group, sunrise group. It became sometimes popular. And before sunrise, I sent like paths to my friend. I made like a friends group. It's a woman group. All of them are woman groups. And I sent them about path, how to feed path, how to keep path. And maybe I told you it's about, I bring a lot of sometimes stories from, if it's from religions or history, everything. Like when I say, Pharaoh. He was the biggest, not good man. He was the biggest طاغية.
Czar. Like a czar.
Yeah, he was the worst man, oppressor on the world, Pharaoh in Egypt. But with all of this, he couldn't stop Moses from coming. He killed all of the boys, newborn boys, but Moses arrived. Prophet Moses arrived. He went back. Moses was a minority and he was with all of his, power, but God sent him the flood and took him. So be with God. God will be with you. And don't worry. Let's try not to worry, because what will it help us? If God wrote it will happen, then it will happen. Yes, I have my own path. I have my own duty. I have my own work. Yes, I need to work on my own work. But then, as we say, like Moses, Prophet Moses, Sayyidina Musa, also, he was in jail. He was the most oppressed place. Then he became also the owner of the world, of the khaza'in al-dunya, of everything.
So what's that mean for you? How
So that means things can go, we don't know.
No, okay, he said he will. Okay, Trump said he will. Okay,
she's responding to Trump's ethnic cleansing plan.
Ethnic cleansing plan. We say للبيت رب يحميه. God will make it safe anyway. Because I believe also in the in heaven and in other life, and this is like a test for us. So I'm trying to make it also easier. Life is difficult enough. And I see life, and I always acknowledge that I'm very privileged, and I'm saying to my kids, and we speak about being privileged. Alhamdulillah, we have a shelter, we have a house, we have a roof, we have food, we have clothes. We are very privileged comparing to other. Alhamdulillah, thanks God. We want to thank God for a lot of things, benefits that He gave us. And we need to make it better for others also. How do we make it? Each will choose his way to make it better for others.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the values that you are carrying, Shireen, and like the positive approach, despite the very challenging daily life that you face, also because of your identity and appearance.
And because I speak, I speak.
Because of your voice.
Yes.
Because of your voice, but you are embracing a positive and faith and
optimism
and yes, and protection by God. And this is definitely a values that will hold you to also continue with the path for peace.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Yes.
And we say always السلم والسلام والأمن والأمان. We believe in peace. And peace is the way, inshallah. And my work is towards it, inshallah.
Your work is towards peace. So you have the belief, but you also have your actions. Your work in the School for Peace, your done,
educating, and I'm doing, and where I'm going, and I'm raising my voice and not to be silent. And you know, I'm breaking a lot of barriers in my own society, outside of the society. If going to the West Bank, to other places, I'm trying. I know that it's not easy, but Alhamdulillah, God gave me a lot of benefits, and I want to use
courage.
Encourage.
A lot of courage.
Model of inspiration, definitely. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
values.
Shukran.
Shukran, Ilko. Thank you for letting me also raise my voice.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Shukran.
Pleasure. It's so great to connect with you. Really great to connect with you.
Giving us hope. Thank you so much. Shukran, Shireen. Salaam.
You've been listening to the podcast Women Ending War. If you like this, please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Links to our channels on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple are below. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Substack. In peace, Salaam, and Shalom.